I started all of this almost 4 years ago. At the time, it was just a place for me to talk about minimalism and anything else on my mind. I was emulating my mentor, trying to learn everything I could about making YouTube videos. I had a vague sense that I wanted to make a living doing this, but it wasn't the main motivator. It was really the lifestyle that I wanted. I spent the first 2 years producing videos that didn't get any views, and by the end of the first 2 years, I had only 72 subscribers to show for all of my work. But in 2023, everything changed. I upgraded my network, I expanded my skill set, I improved my knowledge base, I completely changed my mindset. But above all else, the reason I went from 72 subscribers in 2 years to gaining almost 1,000 subscribers every week is because of one simple factor. I don't set New Year's resolutions. In 2023, you resolved to go to the gym more. On the first, you were there for 2 hours. Felt great. On the second, you were there for 2 more hours. Felt pretty good. On the third, you were there for 1. On the fourth, 30 minutes. On the fifth, 15. And by the sixth, you were gone. You relied on motivation, and for a while that worked great, but once the motivation waned, there was nothing to take its place. You had no discipline, so you couldn't build the habits you needed to carry you through the unmotivated days. So, like everyone else, you gave up and joined every other pathetic loser in the world. Sound familiar? We've all experienced what I've just described. Don't lie to me, I know I have. So how do we actually go about instilling permanent change in our lives? How do we become extraordinary? The first step is to not be like the ordinary. You have to start doing what the crowd is not. If you don't want their lives, don't do what they do. There are 2 men. One says, I desire to be big and strong, so I will work out more. The second man says, I desire to be big and strong, so I'll push this stone across the country. Both men will exercise, but only one will achieve his goals. One is motivated by excitement and trendiness. The other one is motivated by mission and necessity. The second man knew that in order to attain his desires, he would have to set appropriate goals. He knew that by embarking on a goal that required strength, he would inherently build strength. Which is why I don't set New Year's resolutions. Instead, I set quarterly goals. In my line of work, my business is me, which presents me with a really interesting way of approaching self-development. I treat myself, my body, and my mind like a business. So like every business, I set quarterly goals for myself. In 2023, I started a little bit late with 3 quarterly goals. Getting my first apartment. At the time, I was hunting for my first ever apartment here in Tennessee, and I knew this would get done out of necessity, but it was a big enough milestone that I wanted to give it its own goalpost, you know? Check. Growing a beard. Well, you can already tell how that went. I know that I have the gene for it. I've just always been an avid shaver, so I've never actually let it fall a size. So I made a point to all but stop shaving this year to actually finally let it fall a size and come in. You know, I've got a long way to go still, but I've actually made a lot more progress than you would think. So I'll keep that habit up for 2 years maybe. We'll see. Hopefully not too long, and maybe I'll finally have a beard. That'd be cool. God damn it. Partial check.
Dear me, I promise you this. In 6 months, I will make you fucking proud.
400 subscribers. LOL. At the beginning of 2023, I thought this would be literally impossible, like a pipe dream. I only set that goal to push myself beyond what I thought I could do. But after all those years of efforts, all my work started to compound, and I finally hit my exponential growth curve. It was only because of the skills, the habits, the connections, the mindset that I built in pursuit of that 400 goal that got me to where I am now, that allowed me to blow it out of the fucking water. Check mate. I'm only telling you about these goals because 2023 has pretty much come to a close. They're essentially achieved. Most people think that you should share your goals with the world in order to keep yourself accountable. But let me ask you a question. When was the last time that worked for you?
The major errors that people make with book writing and completion is they will tell people they're going to write a book, and people will say, oh, you definitely should write a book. Everyone's going to love your book. And they never end up writing it. And his theory is that they get so much dopamine reward from that immediate feedback with all the protection of never having the book criticized that they never write the book.
Going through and dreaming about or visualizing how great my life will be when I get X, Y, and Z done, that is like a goal satisfied. I have identified what it is that I want. I have experienced it, even if just in an imaginary way. I've had that positive experience of thinking about how great my life is going to be when I get this thing done. In and of itself is the creation of a goal and the satisfaction of the goal, and then people understandably give themselves some time to just enjoy that positive experience.
Oversharing about your goals will likely be the single greatest cause of you not achieving. You gotta be like Batman. Do your work in the shadows and win in the light. That sounds cool as fuck. I finished writing my 4 goals for 2024, and I'm only going to share one of them with the world now because I'll actually be documenting it throughout the year on this channel. So here's the promise. By December 31st, 2024, I will weigh at least 150 pounds. I've spent my entire life being a skinny little fuck. I've tried everything except one thing. Absolute suffering. When I enlisted in the military, I was 13 pounds underweight, and I only had 2 months to put that on if I wanted to meet my ship date. I gained 10 in 2 months. It was horrible. It was horrible. I felt awful. I was fucking depressed all the time, sick as hell, 24/7. It was horrible. But it was just enough to get me a weight waiver for the last 3 pounds. Maybe it was 2 pounds, I don't know. But it was enough, is what I'm saying, for the most transformative experience of my life. So, worth it, right? So, that worked. I'm gonna do it again for 12 months. But I'm not waiting until January 1st to implement change in my life like all the losers, like all the past versions of myself, equally pathetic. Why in the world would you not get a rolling start on the year? Why would you not want to get ahead of the competition of all the NPCs and the losers and the people who never believed in you? Start building now in the dark, before the sun rises, before everyone else wakes up. Establish your habits and routines in advance. Just start now. Don't fall into the trap of New Year's resolutions. There are no new beginnings, only cold hard efforts to enact change in your life. Resolutions exist to provide us the same dopamine as achieving our goals without having to lift a finger. Put simply, New Year's resolutions are bullshit. Set the appropriate goals that you can actually measure and work to build habits and systems to attain those goals. Your goals, your desires, your aspirations are your own. Don't let the mob outside the window dictate how you attain them. Thanks for watching. See you next year. This is a coffee bean.
Skip the small talk, 'cause you know me better than I know myself. On my been a while now since I saw you, but it feels like yesterday somehow.